That was the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. Really big band in the 90s. They were one of my favorites. Anyways, this is the Chris Broadcast podcast for Sunday in beautiful Harney County, Oregon. Well, it's kind of cold outside for this time of the year, but still, we like it that way. So on today's podcast, we're going to go over events and stuff that's going on in our community, plus stuff that's going on nationally. And we'll chit-chat, and I'll read your emails live, and we'll have a little bit of fun tonight. The podcast is brought to you by Starlight Broadcasting. Ha, I made it funny. Anyways, Starlight Broadcasting is the company that we work under. And so they are our proud sponsors of this podcast. So, let's see what's going on in our community. Harney County weather. It's going to be mainly in the 60s, with lows getting down to the low to mid-30s. My goodness, it's going to be cold. Tomorrow's going to be 61 and a low of 36 degrees, so everybody stay warm out there. And if you're up on a hilltop or something, grab a parka. So, speaking of the skies, tonight is going to be the greatest night to look at Mars. Mars is going to be the closest it's been since 2005. If you get some binoculars, you can actually make out the South Pole and the North Pole and a bunch of canyons and things. So get your butts out there tonight. Get a telescope. Get some binoculars. Grab some blankets. Trust me, it's going to be cold because you're not going to want to miss this once in a few years type of a thing. Also, the blue moon's coming up. So, it's more of a reason to look up in the sky. Mars is going to be the second brightest object in the sky tonight. The first one's going to be Jupiter, of course, and if you were to look through that, you could see it in all of its moons. Well, at least 4 or 5 of its moons. And it's such a gigantic planet that you can't miss it. You can even see its great big spot. That's how close it is. Also, speaking of the sky, look at the blue moon tonight. It just will be full. Contrary to what it says, it's not really going to be blue. So it's going to be bright. So you'll see 3 bright things in the sky tonight. Mars, Jupiter, and the moon, which it's going to look kind of neat tonight. But if you look left of the moon, you'll also see the planet Saturn and all of its rings. So if you have a telescope, hey, bring the kids. Do something fun with them. It might be cold, but at least they're going to learn something. In local news, a petition to recall Judge Steve Grasky has been submitted to the Secretary of State of Oregon. I don't know why you'd want to recall a man who is retiring in 6 months, but hey, whatever, float your boat, This is a democracy, and people have a right to say what's on their mind, right? 550 signatures. Wow. I don't know what this man has done to everybody, but I'd hate to be on your bad side. So everybody knows about last week's primary elections, and it seems the people of Harney County are choosing candidates that were opposed to the refuge takeover, and they overwhelmingly have been getting most of the votes. So I guess that should be a sign that the community is ready to move on and leave that story behind us. In other news, the Portland police chief visited Harney County, and while he was here, he accidentally shot his friend. Good shooting, Tex. My advice for Chief Larry O'Day, keep your gun in your holster. Don't shoot your friends. Not fun. In other news, last week our radio station was vandalized yet again. I'm offering a $600 reward to the person who gets the people behind bars. First report said that there was a shot through the window. In all actuality, it looked like a rock or a brick was thrown at the window. If you have any information about this, please contact the Harney County Sheriff's Office. And again, if there's any arrest, and you are the person who is the snitch who led to the arrest, $600 is yours. And for future reference, the radio station now is monitored like Fort Knox. There's cameras everywhere. So the next time somebody decides they want to try to do something dumb out there, remember, smile, you're on camera. If you have any questions, comments, anything to add to our news program, if you'd like to be a special guest, shoot us an email at starlightbroadcastingllc@gmail.com, and we'll see what's up. The Harney County Balloon Festival is looking for volunteers. You can go ahead and join them on their page on Facebook. Look up Harney County Hot Air Balloon Festival and volunteer your time. It's a good thing. We're trying to bring the balloons back. Starlight Broadcasting is a proud sponsor of that. But it can't be done without people like you. So I would go to their website, join, and show up at some of their meetings. Let's try to get something good going on in our community here. So far, we know of 4 hot air balloons that are willing to come here, and they'll bring their friends. But we need you, the public, to come on and help. So now we'll get into our main subject, which is the radio stations. Everybody wants to know what's going on with the radio stations. Well, I can tell you this much. Somebody's going to have those radio stations going as soon as possible, okay? The Harney County Radio Project is a proud sponsor of trying to make this happen. Right now it's all up in with lawyers, and it's a real mess. So, because we promised you radio, we're going to give you radio. Starting Wednesday, we will have our online stations going on. Yes, online radio. That would be like Pandora and the stuff that you guys already listen to, except for this is going to be local. There's going to be 3 stations. We're going to have an oldies station, a country music station, and a station that plays today's hits. If you'd like to advertise on there, which, by the way, that's going to help pay for all of this to go through, give our office a call at 541-573-3456. We made a promise to the community to get radio on one way or another, and it's been quite a struggle to try to get our normal radio stations on that we love. So this is something we're going to do to kind of fill the gap between the two. We know a lot of people have access to the internet through their phones, through laptops and tablets, and there will be a kind of an app that you just push, and you can switch between the 3 stations if you'd like. It will be posted on the Harney County Radio Project page within the next couple of days on how to download that app and how to advertise. Community events, always free. Always free. So if you could shoot us an email, Starlight Broadcasting LLC at gmail.com about your community event, we'd love to have you on there. One of the great things about the internet radio is, yes, it gets local stuff on now. We're going to have live DJs on there most of the time. Complete with a morning show. Everybody loved waking up to everybody's news and what was going on in our own community. Well, that's going to happen. Again, if you are a political candidate and you're running for something, by all means, give us a call. We'll definitely run your ad. The great thing about internet radio is we now have a chance to showcase Harney County to not just all of Oregon, but to the world. We're going to be running a couple of ads trying to get people to bring jobs back to Harney County. We want them to know that after our incident, we'll call it, Harney County is open for business. We have a lot of land. We have a lot of great people willing to work. So we're going to be running ads trying to get people to locate here. And we need you, the public, to help us. You know, if it's cleaning up your streets, making the town look nice, let's showcase this to the world. We're a great community. We have a lot to offer here. We need to give Randy down there at the Economic Development some stuff to do, I think. And I think giving them a hand down there and getting business to Eastern Oregon is the way we start, and we start it through radio. So a couple other things, you know, with this whole, speaking of the radio, there's not really supposed to be a war here. I don't know why people seem to think that it's okay to bash people for this and call them names, harass them, that kind of a thing. You know, that's a little childish, in my opinion. We all have one common goal. That's to get the radio back on the air. Why? Because we don't want what happened in January and the public not knowing what's going on to happen again. We want to be able to have our own news. We want to be able to hear what's going on in our county. After all, we have the second largest county in the country. Our county is larger than some states. So let's get some business here. Another thing coming up, Memorial Day weekend. Everybody's going to be out making campfires and stuff like that, which brings me to 2 things. 1, fire season is coming up. 2, rattlesnakes are out. So remember, when it comes to rattlesnakes, if they have slits in their eyes, they're poisonous snakes. If they're circles, you're good to go. Let's try to make sure there's no snake bites out there this weekend. The other thing is, make sure there is a defensible space around your campfire. The last thing we need is an early fire season, which in some states and actually in Canada has started early this year. So be wary, defensible space, always bring a bucket of water and a shovel. And I would highly recommend this year bringing lots of blankets. It seems like it's going to be one of those cold times. So I also want to talk about a few other things that are going around town now. I grew up here, and this is one of my favorite places in the world. And the reason why I came back was because I thought I was coming back to the way Harney County used to be, which was a friendly place where you could just wave at everybody. And, sometimes you didn't get along, but you could settle it over a cup of coffee. And I'm really surprised on how this community has become. It's a constant struggle. There's fighting. Your friends are your enemies now. There's one side or another. This needs to end. How do you expect our economy and our community to get stronger if we're all bickering and fighting and acting like children, in fact? That's not how things used to be here. And another thing that has to go is this town has a way of repeating itself over and over and over again. It's time for change. It is time to start something new. Obviously, what we've been doing around here is not working. So now what we have to do is look for the future, getting the jobs here, cleaning up our community, getting the drugs off the street. People are bored enough here where there's drugs all the time. I remember a time when the funnest parts was going and cruising down that main street. Now, 5 o'clock hits, and it's dead because people are doing dumb things. So we need to somehow change that, getting our community better the way we used to have it. If it's not one war, it's another. It's the people who were for the refuge and people against the refuge, and somehow these people fight. Well, guess what? It's time to put our differences aside and look for the better picture here. And then the radio war started, which somehow we got in the middle of it. The reason why we got in the middle of it was because we took really nobody's side. We had one goal, that was getting the radio station. That was our goal. We wanted the truth. We didn't want to be put in the middle of the stupid drama. All we wanted was the radio station. All we wanted was to put the radio station on the air. I've gone to the extent where I've talked to friends. I used to work in radio in a bigger market than Harney County in Reno. So I reached out to my old station manager and trying to get stuff so that we can have permanent radio here and make sure that it does not leave again. Now, of course, you're not going to make a profit in this town on radio. It's just not going to happen. So the way we were going to make it free and, make it so that everybody could enjoy it at a higher level is we were going to stream our stuff online. Anyways, moving on. So let's go to the emails and let's see what we have here. Got a comment from Patty Schultz. She missed our broadcast today, but she's really excited about Wednesday. Out of the Stone Age, into the light. Thanks. You know what? Thank you, Patty. You've been pretty loyal to us for the past few weeks, and we'd like to thank you. We also have a comment from Dee. She's asking, where do we find this? The new stations are going to actually be on a mobile app, or you can go online to the website. On Wednesday, we'll post all the links to that stuff so that everybody can download the apps and go online and see all that fun stuff. See, the great thing about online radio, it's going to tell us a little bit of something about Harney County, who's listening to what, and, how many listeners at the same time, so that we can refine our audience. So we know what our audience is listening to. Here's an email from Natasha. Chris, it was really fun meeting you a couple of weeks ago. You are completely awesome and cute as heck, and I'm pregnant. Okay, I'm thinking she got the wrong Chris. Moving on. So now I'm going to talk about the donations. A lot of you have donated to the Harney County Radio Project, and that is greatly appreciated. We wanted to let you know that every single one of your funds has actually gone into improving the radio station. We have pictures that are posted up on the Harney County Radio Project website and the one that's on Facebook. So take a look. See where your money's going. We do not believe in you guys having to pay our legal fees. It's just not how it's going. If I would have known that it was going to pay legal fees, I wouldn't have bought that box of Krispy Kremes, which honestly I was really missing them. From living in a city, Krispy Kremes are like a must. So yes, I admit I got a box of them, but maybe it was worth it. You know, one of the other things I ran into this week is morals. When you give a person your word that you're not going to do something, and then you go and do it anyway, you know, that's not living up to your morals. I don't care who you are or what you stand for, but you should always have those morals, because no matter what, nobody can bring you down. If you tell a person, hey man, I'm not going to do this because of this reason, and if you need any help, give me a call. Stick to that. Don't go behind their back and do things. That's just wrong to do. One thing that I've learned through this whole entire thing with the radio station is don't trust anybody, because ultimately there is an ulterior motive behind everything, and which is sad that this place has come to that. It's sad that you can't trust anybody anymore. I want people of Harney County to start working on that. When you say something, follow through with it. Make sure you make it happen. Just like us, I promised you radio. Well, I'm going to get you radio. It may not be in the on-air format or over the airwaves quite yet, but I'm going to get you guys something because I made a promise to this community. You know, I'm by far the most perfect person in the world. Everybody makes mistakes once in a while. But what happened to this town's morals? What happened to, no matter what, we always stick together. No matter what, we don't try to backstab each other. This is a small town. Word gets around quicker than you would believe. Let me tell you a story about when I was a kid. Okay? I got into some trouble, and my father knew about it within 5 minutes. Why? First of all, the cop knew my dad. Second of all, they knew my grandmother. So by the time I got home, my whole family knew about what I had just done. We won't get into what I did. But if a lot of you know me growing up, you'll know that I wasn't the most perfect child in the world. So there's been quite a few people have asked us what we've been doing out there the past couple of months. Well, we've been trying to improve the building. We've done some upgrades. We've signed a bunch of contracts through Premier Radio Networks. I know a lot of you aren't happy with some of our programming that we signed on, but when it comes down to it, you know, we're a radio station. We have to be able to make money, and we have to be able to save money. And going through an automated service like Premier saves us quite a bit of money in the long run for us. The electric bills and stuff like that, you know, they've got to be paid. So if we save money and we can pay all that stuff to make this a continuous free service for the public, it's stuff we have to do. The great thing, though, is you can email us and ask us what you would want on the air and tell us, you know, that you don't like hearing something or you don't like a certain personality and stuff like that, and we will listen to you. You are our audience. Without you, we're nothing. So anyway, I'm closing here since we've gone almost 20 minutes, which is kind of long for straight talking. You know, this has been a podcast broadcast brought to you by Starlight Broadcasting. And we'll go ahead and throw out the names of our 3 internet stations. One of them is Great Times, Good Oldies. It's called The Penguin. Alice FM will be the modern day music, and the Coyote will be our country station. So tune into those. I will have those links up as soon as possible. If you have any questions, comments, gripes, or complaints, please email me, starlightbroadcastingllc@gmail.com, or on Facebook on the Harney County Radio Project. And if you'd like to join the Harney County Radio Project, just push like on your little page, and that'll get you connected to us. So we'd like to thank everybody in Harney County, Eastern Oregon, and the world. See you. Love you. Bye.